You may be getting compensated because of Apple's shady business practices. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Apple finally, after many years, settling a lawsuit over slowing down the older phones that will possibly encourage you to go get a new phone. They've finally settled that, and you may be entitled to a payment of $65. Okay, if you put in a claim, I think for the 6 or 7 series of the phone, you may get paid. Now, there's a lot here. First of all, if you thought your phone was being slowed down intentionally because they wanted you to upgrade, you've been vindicated. I long since thought that, and that's part of the reason why I had a years-long strike against the iPhone. The only reason why I have one now is because of friends and family or whatever, they want to do FaceTime and you got to have the blue text, all the kind of other weird stuff. It's just for social purposes. But if not for that, I would not have one because of the things that they do. Okay. And also their computers, they're soldering the RAM onto the motherboard, ridiculous anti-consumer behavior that I don't like from the company. And they have now been held accountable for their actions. So shout out to the courts. Shout out to everybody who's going to get paid. And before I go any further into it, let's go ahead and roll a news clip. If you want to see this clip before without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
If you've ever complained that your older iPhone was slowing down, you may be in luck. Apple has settled a class action suit after being accused of purposely slowing down older phones during upgrades. Now millions of people could soon get a check. ABC's business reporter Alexis Christoforous has more. Alexis, so who's eligible to receive a piece of this settlement? How does this work?
So you had to have actually filed this claim before the deadline, which was 2020. This suit has been going on for quite some time. The amount each person is going to get really depends on how many claims there are overall. They're going to be dividing up that pie. Lawyers are saying that because over 3 million people did file a claim before the deadline, you could be looking at between $65 and $90 per person.
3 million people. Wow. And I hope they all get paid because this was really blatant, ridiculous. It's like, look, if I want to get a new phone, I'll go get one. Don't intentionally make my phone slower or more difficult to use or obsolete just because you want me to upgrade. Don't do that.
Fewer claims generally mean larger payouts for each claimant.
And does this case answer the question of whether company is slowing down phones when you upgrade?
Right. I wish it were, but no, because what happens with a lot of these class action lawsuits is Apple is not admitting or denying any wrongdoing by agreeing to this settlement. And at issue here is what we call software throttling. So Apple was accused of pushing software updates out to older phones to slow them down on purpose. Apple says it was doing that to prolong the life of the phone, to prevent it from shutting off automatically when one of its regular updates were installed. Of course, claimants were saying, wait a minute, you're slowing down my phone because you want me to run out and buy, an upgraded phone. I still know people who will not upgrade their phone because they think that Apple is doing this.
I mean, like this is a long thought about thing. People have been accusing Apple of doing this. I mean, look, if I'm Apple and I did not slow the phone down because I want you to get an upgrade, if it was not a blatantly anti-consumer practice, I wouldn't get nobody a dime. I pay all the money to the lawyers. I would pay more money to the lawyers and in court action rather than giving anybody a dime. That's what I would do. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to do anything that would even imply that I'm guilty of what I'm being accused of if I didn't do it. And if I'm Apple, I got endless money. Look, I will make y'all pay more for the phones to pay for the legal fees before I said that anybody would get a dime because I did a thing that I did not do. But that's just me.
Now, a deadline's also approaching to file a claim in this Meta privacy suit. Walk us through what people need to know on that one.
Another one that's been going on for years. There is still time to be a part of this class action lawsuit. You have
Well, okay, now you're talking about Meta, so I can just pause the video right there. And if you want to hear about Meta and all that kind of stuff, $725 million, that's crazy. You know, these social media companies, they got really big money, but that's a different story. And for now, I digress. Here is an article about what's going on. This is on The Verge. You see what it says, Apple's iPhone, quote unquote, battery gate settlement payments should start going out soon. It's too late for iPhone 6 and iPhone 7 series owners to file for damages, but if you already did, then about $65 of Apple's cash will be heading your way soon. And again, this has been going on for years. They said the deadline to file your claim was 2020. So I presume that the lawsuit started before then. I think it's been going on for like 5 years or more. It says, well, we're going to look at what's going on here. Just as some iPhone 14 owners are raising concerns about a possible battery issue, the original lawsuit over 2017, 2017's Batterygate saga is nearing an end. One of the firms representing Apple customers in the suit, Kachit Pitra and McCarthy, announced that the Ninth Circuit dismissed 2 cases from people appealing the terms of what it called the largest all-cash recovery in a computer intrusion case in history. Wow. This clears the way for millions in payments to be distributed to affected owners of cover iPhone 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, 7, 7 Plus, or first generation iPhone SE devices. According to the terms of the settlement, Apple will have to pay a minimum of $310 million and up to $500 million, depending on how many people file claims. The bad news is if that you own one of the affected phones and you're just not hearing about it, the deadline to submit a claim was back October 2020. You're talking about like almost 3 years ago. So you're not going to be able to partake in the monies that are going to be distributed. But if you did file your claim on or before that date, then you're good money. All right. You get a nice big check of about 65 to 90 US dollars. So congrats on that. But anyway, however, according to the attorneys, based on the number of people who filed, if you're one of the 3 million or so people who did file and you were approved, then you can expect a payment of around $65. And there's more details on the website about the settlement. So the class action settlement was over Apple slowing down devices once iOS detected their batteries had degraded. Apple said this would prevent the phones from spontaneously shutting down if the battery couldn't supply the current needed. So, okay. So they did slow the devices down, but the question, as they were saying in the clip, is if they were slowing the devices down because they wanted you to upgrade or because they just wanted to preserve the lifespan of your phone. Because if your battery degrades to a point where it just shuts down and is no longer useful, that could happen in a matter of, let's say, 2 months versus if there's a software upgrade pushed to your phone and that makes that 2-month life expectancy stretch out to 8 months. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's going on. However, let me just keep on reading here, and then I'll give you more of my thoughts about what's happening. However, it hadn't mentioned the change that shipped in an iOS 10 software update until after users picked up on it, confirming what some considered planned obsolescence. There we go. That was right in my head. I'm about to say that. And I figured they would get to that at a particular point in the article. This is my very first time reading this article, although I had heard about the lawsuit years ago. But anyway, some consider that planned obsolescence that pushed users to unnecessarily buy new phones, even as Apple said it was done to make the devices work better as they aged. See, now here's something about that. I'm going to come back so you can see me clearly. Apple is going to say, well, look, we know that some of the batteries are going to be degrading over time, and we want to push this software update to allow your device to last longer than it would normally without the actual software update because your battery's going dead. But some are going to argue, hey, well, you put in the battery that you knew was going to die at a certain time, and that was predetermined before the software update because you wanted the battery to last for a certain period of time, and your thought process was, okay, by the time the battery dies, they would have upgraded their phone, so it's not really a big deal. Maybe you cut corners, planned obsolescence. They do that a lot of times with vehicles. After a certain period of time, things are going to wear out that probably could last longer if they put more money into the materials, if they didn't cut corners, or if they didn't want you to go out and get a brand new thing. This is a common practice in business, unfortunately, and I think maybe Apple did do something like that. As I close, I want to say this. As I said earlier, if I'm Apple and I didn't do anything wrong here, I'm not giving anybody a red cent. It's like, look, we did things to make your phone last longer. We didn't do things to make you go out and buy another one. And again, I think that there could have been some planned obsolescence before the phone was even rolled out to the stores, before the phones hit the shelves, before a person purchased the phone. There was already a plan about how long is it going to last, when are they going to buy a new device, all that. That might have already been baked into the price and the manufacturing and the kind of materials used in a device. Perhaps. Maybe it's innocent, but maybe it's not. All I know is that they're going to pay upwards of $500 million for this particular kerfuffle. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Apple did this intentionally? Planned obsolescence, having the batteries that are going to degrade after a certain period of time, so you go out and buy a new phone, and then they realize that and say, okay, well, let's push a software update so it lasts a little bit longer. But the result is having a slower phone. Either way, it's going to make you go out and buy another device. Whatever your thoughts are on that, let me know in the comments below. You guys kind of know where I'm at. I'm not an Apple fan, just to be crystal clear. I am a big nerd. I am a tech guy. I built PCs. I love technology in general. I have an iPhone and an Android. I have had iPads and Android tab. I've had everything. I got a Windows tablet. I got it all. I had a iMac for like many years, probably about 8, 9, 10 years. And I would do little repairs on it and stuff like that. But then when I was in the market for another computer, a newer one, and I went to the Apple store, or before I went to the Apple store, I did some research and I can't really upgrade it. I got to go out and get one of these big, expensive $5,000 towers to do any kind of upgrades. I can't change out the RAM. I can't change out the hard drive. I can't do anything. Even in the iMac, like the one piece, I could just open the bottom of it and put in new sticks of RAM. But in the newer ones, they got the RAM soldered right onto the motherboard. Anti-consumer. They want you to go spend $1 trillion on brand new software rather than upgrading it. They won't let you repair it. You can't take it to a third party. You got to go to the Apple store. I hate all that stuff. I'm not a big fan of Apple and how they do things. They have great devices, but they cost too much and they're 100% anti-consumer in my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.